Warning. Before you decide to continue to watch this video, I have to inform you. I am not a mechanic whatsoever. Actually, if I'm completely honest with you, I'm very clumsy. If you do decide to continue to watch this video, I hope you enjoy and it's a good source of information for you. Good luck and enjoy.
Rumors spreading round United Texas town about the shack outside the game. And you know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go.
So, a few weeks ago I bought this Inca Yellow MGB roadster, which as you can tell is clearly a rubber bumper version, which I'm not a big fan of. So that leaves me with two options. Either make it a chrome bumper version or turn it into a sebring more racing car look. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm going to change it into a sebring version, which means I have to buy the sebring front valance and the sebring rear valance. When I was looking online to find some tips and tricks on how to convert a rubber bumper into a sebring, I found out there's a few things you have to take in consideration before doing so. First of all, the rubber bumper is missing a small portion underneath the rear light, which you can tell over here. A chrome bumper has this part. Now, you can order online a welding small part, but I'm not a welder whatsoever. So I was not planning on doing any welding while doing this conversion. So I kept looking online and I found out there's this company in the UK which sells these rear valances, which has a small upcoming part underneath the rear light included already. So there's no need to do any welding at all. To do the front side conversion, you also need a few other bits except for the front valance. You obviously need the front valance as well, but you also need to find turn singles with the full housing and the wiring loom. And you also need a new front grille. The rubber bumper has a grille, but it lays deeper into the car and it would not look right. You can buy these parts online new, which are quite pricey in my opinion. Or you can do as I did and go online secondhand and try to source these parts. So I'm going to start to do the front side conversion first because the rear valance hasn't been delivered yet. The first step is you have to take off the rubber bumper. It's quite easy. It's only held by 4 bolts. 2 on top, here and here, and 2 on the bottom, here and here. The top ones are 14 millimeters, the bottom ones are 15 millimeters. The bottom ones you have to access going underneath the car. I used a ratchet for the bottoms and I don't know what it's called, but like a normal wrench on top. You have to start with taking off the grille first. It's only held by 3 screws on the top and 2 on the bottom, or in my case, a half. This is a clear view of how the rubber bumper looks on the inside. These are the 2 bolts on each side I've mentioned earlier. Now don't be like me. Don't forget to disconnect your turn signals first, because otherwise you have to be like me and yell for your girlfriend to bring some cutting pliers, and then at the same time have to explain to her what the hell cutting pliers are. So don't be like me and be more smart. I'm going to start with placing the front grille inside. To do so, I have to cut off these brackets. Also have to cut them a little bit deeper to get more clearance inside the car, so I can mount the front grille by those 3 bolts. So I think that's the biggest thing you have to do when installing the front valance. So yeah, wish me good luck. So apparently the previous owner had some kind of fetish with collecting different kind of bolts in the car. So yeah, that's fun. So a few hours later, I've cut off these brackets on both sides. I drilled 3 holes for the front grille. I tidied it up, painted it yellow so it won't rust. And now it's time for me to mount the front grille. And that's what it should look like with the front grille mounted. So after I installed the front grille, I started painting the front valance, which I should have done before I started anything, because I had to wait for it to be completely dry before installing it on the car. Installing the front valance is actually pretty straightforward. I'm not sure if everyone has to do so, but I had to cut off a strip on the top of the valance. I had a strip going all the way across the valance. I had to cut that to make it sit flush, or at least fit. I also only started drilling the holes for the bolts once the valance was on the car. So I started with doing the two in the middle, and then I started going on to the sides. Luckily I did so, because I decided to only use 6 bolts instead of 8. So I had to drill 2 more on each side. Luckily I did not drill the holes up front, because otherwise I would be sitting with holes in the valance, which would not look nice. Yeah, actually it was pretty straightforward, not that difficult, so I did not make any videos on how I painted and how I cut the valance, which would be very boring. I did have to remove the grill in order to install the valance, just to get more clearance and have a better view. I used tape all across the valance, so I could mark where I need to drill. So yeah, I also had to cut on the sides to make it follow the line of the cars, because it was sticking out a bit. So yeah, that's the front side done. Now the only thing that still rests me is finding a solution on the blinkers, on the turn signals. I'm not sure on how I'm going to do so. I said I wasn't going to weld, but maybe I will have to, unfortunately. So, that's the front end of the conversion done. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't planning on doing any welding, and I'm still looking to see what my options are to not do so, because I'm not a big fan of doing the bodywork. However, I do want it to be good and to look good, so if in the end there's no other option than doing the welding, I will have to contact people to do the bodywork for me. I have seen online some people reuse the original turn signals that are in the rubber bumper, which could work, but I'm not a big fan of. So I'm looking into what my options are, but I probably will have to resort into have a friend of mine doing the bodywork or contact a body shop. For the rear end conversion, I'm still waiting for the rear valance to arrive. Hopefully between this and 2 weeks. Anyway, as soon as the part arrives, I will be making a video on how I mount it to the car and what I come across as tips and tricks or things to take in consideration of. I will not be asking you to like and subscribe the page or like and follow or whatsoever. This video is pure for fun, and I hope it's also a source of information for someone who's looking into doing the conversion as well. However, in the future I will be tackling a few other bits. For example, I'm going to lower the car to at least the chrome bumper version, and maybe even lower. I'm still looking into it. I also am planning on doing a carburetor switch to the double SU's HS4s. So that means I'm also going to switch the exhaust system. I'm still looking into which one I'm going to. But anyways, the Stromberg carburetor will be going out. So yeah, maybe into the near future, and otherwise, good luck on doing the sebring conversion. Cheers!